I am extremely excited to be going over my Draft League team for PDL Season 2. If you are unfamiliar with how a Pokemon Draft League works, you should watch my other video where I introduce and explain the rules of the Draft League, which I will link in the description below. Before I get into my team, I'm going to make the assumption that you understand the format and generally what each Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet does. This assumption will make it easier and faster to go over my team. With that out of the way, let's get into my team, the Green Bay Grimers, for Season 2 of the Paldea Draft League. I was lucky enough to be seated third in the draft order, so I was able to pick up one of the best Pokemon in the draft format, Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant is a Paradox Pokemon, meaning it has the ability Quark Drive, which allows me to raise a variety of stats once per battle using the Booster Energy item. This ability, on top of its impressive 130 attack, 120 special attack, and 116 speed, allows me to raise any of these stats I desire based on my need in the game. These stats also allow me to make use of other popular items such as any choice item and Life Orb. To make Iron Valiant even stronger, it also has an impressively diverse move pool consisting of a variety of physical and special moves, including Close Combat, Knockoff, Moonblast, Thunderbolt, and many more. Additionally, it also has an impressive amount of setup and utility moves, such as Swords Dance, Calm Mind, Disable, and Destiny Bond. All of these attributes, alongside its strong typing of Fairy and Fighting, make Iron Valiant a force to be reckoned with. I was surprised my second pick made it all the way back to me in the draft, since it's typically chosen in the first 5 picks. Palafin. Although Palafin must switch out before transforming into its powerful hero form, this is a small drawback for one of the hardest hitters in the game. This pure water type has a powerful base 160 attack, along with great bulk and a base 100 speed stat. However, the strongest part of Palafin's moveset is its signature move Jet Punch, which is a 60 base power water type priority move. This allows me to invest very little into speed and still let me move faster than the opponent and hit them with a powerful stab attack. Palafin has even more useful attacks to make use of its attack stat, including the powerful Wave Crash, Close Combat, and Ice Punch. Palafin is going to be a powerful threat every opponent needs to build around. Not soon after choosing Palafin, I decided to grab an all-around great Pokemon in Latias. Latias is a Psychic and Dragon type with the ability Levitate, which gives me a ground immunity. Additionally, it has base 110 speed, 110 special attack, and 130 special defense. This great typing along with these stats allow me to build Latias into either a powerful offensive threat or an unbreakable wall. Her moveset offers even more flexibility, with strong special attacks in the newly buffed Mist Ball and Draco Meteor. She also has a variety of setup moves including Calm Mind, Agility, and Dragon Dance, as well as some status moves being Thunder Wave and Healing Wish. After choosing 3 typically offensive threats, I decided to start adding more defensive Pokemon to my team. The first of these picks was Skeledirge, one of the starter Pokemon of Scarlet and Violet. With the fantastic ability Unaware, any setup from the opponent will prove to be useless against this Pokemon. Skeledirge also has impressive bulk with base 104 HP, 100 defense, and 75 special defense. Surprisingly, it also has a base 100 special attack stat, which means I could possibly set up with its signature move Torch Song and put a huge dent into my opponent's team. Although its moveset isn't nearly as deep as my previous team members, it has access to important status moves in Slack Off and Will-O-Wisp. It also has important coverage with the Fairy type move Alluring Voice and Ground type move Scorching Sands. The next defensive addition to my team was introduced in Pokemon Legends Arceus, Overqwil. Overqwil has a great defensive typing, being Dark and Poison, which allows me to absorb Toxic Spikes and take strong hits from Ghost and Dark type attacks. Additionally, it has the ability Intimidate, which allows it to switch in on physically offensive Pokemon and weaken them. Although there isn't anything surprising about its move pool, it has access to the hazards Spikes and Toxic Spikes and can toxic opposing threats, which will help me weaken opposing teams over time. At this point in the draft, I feel like I have a great variety of offensive and defensive threats on my team, but I have no way of removing hazards from the field. This led me to my next pick being the strong Bug and Steel type, Scizor. Scissor finishes my Fairy Dragon Steel core and gives me a hazard removal option with the move Defog. Scizor has decent bulk with its base 70 HP, 100 defense, and 80 special defense, but also boasts an impressive 130 base attack, which can hit opposing Pokemon extremely hard. Although it has a low speed stat, this is made up by its access to priority moves in Bullet Punch and Quick Attack. Additionally, it contains important coverage with Close Combat and Knockoff, which allows it to weaken opposing threats without abusing its stab attacks. Another component of my team that I've been missing up to this point are my Terra Captains, so I decided to pick up my first one now with Kilowattrel. Although its bulk isn't great, Kilowattrel has base 125 speed and 105 special attack, which allows this glass cannon to outspeed opponents and hit hard with its special attacks. Although its special attack isn't phenomenal, it has great utility moves in Volt Switch and U-Turn, which allows Kilowattrel to deal chip damage, then switch into one of its teammates to take the hit. Its most useful ability is Volt Absorb, which means Kilowattrel has a ground and electric immunity. Volt Absorb also allows two of my Terra types, Flying and Water, to lose one of their weaknesses, while my other Terra type, Fairy, allows it to gain additional offensive and defensive attributes against certain opponents. To finish up another common type core for my team, I decided to pick up a grass type next. I also noticed that only having Defog as a hazard removal option wasn't great, which is why Serena was my next pick. Serena has a strong ability, Queenly Majesty, which makes priority moves fail against it. It also has decent bulk with base 72 HP, 98 defense, and 98 special defense. These stats, along with access to the recovery move Synthesis, allows Serena to become a defensive wall if necessary. Additionally, it has a surprisingly high base attack at 120, which could allow me to potentially sweep opponents after raising its speed stat with Rapid Spin. It also has access to some additional coverage and utility options including High Jump, Triple Axle, Knockoff, and U-Turn. The final pick for my team is also my second Terra Captain. I was surprised to see this Pokemon left at this point in the draft, since it contains some of the strongest priority in the game, Comfey. Its ability Triage allows it to gain +3 priority to any healing moves it uses, which includes Synthesis, Draining Kiss, and Giga Drain. The ability to use these moves before any of my opponents, as well as its ability to set up using Calm Mind and Taunt, give me ample opportunity to sweep with this powerful threat. Its bulk is a bit subpar with base 51 HP, 90 defense, and 100 special defense, but with the correct investment, I will be able to eat the right hits and set up only a few times before my opponent realizes it's too late. Overall, I am really happy with the team I was able to draft. I have some of the best offensive threats in the game, as well as some solid defensive walls. The Terra Captains I have on my team are also some of the best in the league, but I've noticed some weaknesses as I finished up my team. For example, I have no way of setting up Stealth Rocks, which allows my opponent's Flying, Fire, and Ice types to ditch Heavy Duty Boots and freely run any item they want. Additionally, my defensive Pokemon lack resistances to the Flying type, and only one member of my team resists the type at all, which is Kilowattrel, who I don't want to switch in on any attacks with its pitiful bulk. Although these weaknesses may attempt to be exploited by my opponents, I believe my team is strong enough to withstand and overcome the challenges they will face. I will do my best to lead the Green Bay Grimers to victory in Season 2 of the PDL.